I've not been a fan of this man. I don't like how he talks to us. I don't like how he talks to the nation. He's been in New York forever. He's a New York person and been a New York character. Being a character on television is a lot different than being the president of the United States. Whoopi Goldberg just dropped a truth bomb on Trump, and it's messier than his hair on a windy day. She's not holding back, folks. And Trump's not going to like what she has to say. Want to know what turned Whoopi from a friendly TV host to Trump's worst nightmare? Stick around because we're about to spill all the juicy details that'll make you say, "Oh snap, remember when Trump was just that guy with the weird hair and a TV show?" Those were simpler times, folks. But our buddy Donald seems to have a selective memory when it comes to his appearances on The View. He's been bragging about how they welcomed him with open arms back in 2011. According to Trump, it was all hugs and kisses. Well, let's roll the tape and see if his rosy glasses match reality. So picture this. It's 2011, and Trump struts onto the View set like he owns the place. He's expecting a red carpet and maybe some confetti. But what he gets is, well, let's just say it's not exactly a love fest. Barbara Walters, ever the professional, greets him politely. But Whoopi, she's giving off vibes that scream, "Do I really have to be here for this?" Now, don't get me wrong, they didn't throw tomatoes at him or anything, but it was more like a lukewarm cup of coffee than a steaming mug of Trump love. You know how sometimes you convince yourself that your high school reunion was amazing, even though you spent most of it hiding by the punch bowl? That's Trump with this View appearance. But here's where things start to get spicy. Remember that whole birth certificate drama? It was the episode of The View when you were on The View, and I think it was 2015 or 2006. Like when you were running for president, you got introduced as our friend Donald Trump. That's right. Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you. Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? Barbara was her usual polite self, as she was with every guest. But did I? Yeah, that was the first sign that this beautiful friendship was headed for the rocks. Trump, in all his infinite wisdom, decided to go full birther on national TV. He starts spouting off about Obama's birth certificate, and you can practically see Whoopi's patience evaporating. And boy, does Whoopi let him have it. She doesn't mince words, calling Trump's birther nonsense exactly what it is. That's BS. The gloves are off, folks, and Whoopi's ready to throw down. It's like watching your fun uncle at Thanksgiving suddenly start ranting about lizard people. The mood in the room, let's just say, it went from meh to yikes real quick. So there's Trump, standing in the middle of this mess he's created, probably wondering why everyone isn't applauding his genius theories. There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like. God, that's terrible. I'm telling you, I love you too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages. I respect Barbara, you know, she said. Be polite to the guest no matter what, and I, for the most part, got through. I did it like I do now, and what they did for years, which is why people got up and said, "You can't talk to me like this anymore. You can't talk about me like this anymore." Meanwhile, Whoopi's giving him a look that could curdle milk. It's a far cry from the love fest Trump seems to remember. But here's the kicker. Trump walks away from this thinking, wow, they really loved me. It's like he's got some sort of reality distortion field around him. In Trump's world, skeptical looks translate to adoring gazes. And Whoopi's BS comment was probably a term of endearment in his mind. Now, you might be thinking, how did we get from that awkward TV appearance to, well, everything that came after? Buckle up, Buttercup, because that's where things get really wild. We're talking a journey from that guy with the weird hair, to, oh God, he's running for president, to, how is this our reality? It's like watching a car crash in slow motion, except the car is orange and keeps tweeting about how great it's doing. Trump's journey from TV personality to political figure is a roller coaster that nobody asked to ride. But here we are, white-knuckling it through every loop and turn, and through it all, there's Whoopi. Watching this transformation with a mix of disbelief and I told you so energy, she's gone from tolerating Trump as a guest on her show to becoming one of his most vocal critics. It's like she's the voice of reason in a world that's gone completely bonkers. Remember when Trump was just that guy with the weird hair who fired people on TV? Well, buckle up, folks, because our favorite orange reality star decided to trade in his catchphrase for a campaign slogan. And let me tell you, Whoopi Goldberg was not having it. So, how did we go from "you're fired" to "make America great again"? It all started back in 2011, when Trump decided to dip his tiny toes into the political pool. But instead of testing the waters like a normal person, he cannonballed right in with the birther conspiracy. Yeah, that's right. Our future president-to-be thought it was a great idea to question whether President Obama was really born in the USA. Talk about a plot twist. Now, Whoopi had seen Trump pull some stunts before, but this one really took the cake when Trump showed up on The View spouting his birther nonsense. Whoopi's eyebrows practically flew off her face. Trump, in all his wisdom, declared, "I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on it I don't like." Oh, Donald, sweetie. You could practically hear Whoopi's brain screaming, "Are you kidding me right now?" It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion, but the train was spray-painted gold and had Trump written on the side in big shiny letters. But here's the thing. Trump's little birther adventure wasn't just annoying TV drama. Nope, it was the beginning of something much bigger and way more problematic. See, when you start throwing around accusations about the first black president not being a real American, people tend to get a little upset, especially people who've been dealing with that kind of nonsense their whole lives. Whoopi, being the voice of reason in a world gone mad, pointed out that people were getting real tired of being talked down to. It's like, imagine if someone kept asking to see your driver's license every time you got behind the wheel, even though you've been driving for years. Eventually, you'd want to throw that license at their face, right? That's how marginalized groups were feeling about Trump's shenanigans. But our boy Donald didn't stop there. Oh no, he was just getting started. As he ramped up his political ambitions, his TV persona started morphing into something, well, let's just say it wasn't ready for prime time. Whoopi, ever the straight shooter, laid it out plain and simple. Being a character on television is a lot different than being the President of the United States. Preach. Whoopi, it's like Trump thought he could just waltz into the White House, the same way he strutted onto his reality show set. But running a country isn't like picking which D-list celebrity gets to stay on your team for another week. Who knew, right? Spoiler alert, everyone knew. As Trump's political star rose, The View's attitude toward him took a nosedive faster than Trump's approval ratings. Whoopi and her co-hosts went from tolerating Trump to tearing him a new one on the daily. It was like watching your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving dinner slowly realize that nobody's laughing at his jokes anymore. But the real kicker, Trump's political ambitions didn't just change how The View saw him. It completely torched any goodwill he might have had left. Whoopi, never one to mince words, laid it out. "I've not been a fan of this man. I don't like how he talks to us. I don't like how he talks to the nation." Ouch. That's the kind of burn that not even Trump's trademark orange glow can hide. Remember when Trump thought he could charm his way through The View? Well, folks, those days are long gone. Whoopi's gone from mildly annoyed to full-on Mama Bear mode. And let me tell you, you don't want to mess with Mama Bear Whoopi. As Trump's political shenanigans reached new heights, Goldberg decided it was time to take off the kid gloves. What pushed her over the edge? Let's just say it involved some choice words that would make even a New York cabbie blush. Whoopi's frustration with Trump's behavior had been simmering for a while. She didn't mince words when she said, "I don't like how he talks to us. I don't like how he talks to the nation." Ouch. That's the kind of burn that not even Trump's trademark orange glow can hide. But the real kicker came when Trump started running for president. That's when Whoopi decided enough was enough. She said, "Then I can say everything I needed to say." My face said everything else. And boy, did she say it. It was like watching a volcano of sass and righteous anger erupt on national TV. As Trump's campaign rolled on, Whoopi's reactions on The View became must-see TV. It was like watching a real-life version of the roast of Donald Trump. Except this time the jokes had some serious bite to them. Whoopi wasn't just throwing shade. She was throwing the whole dang tree. The View turned into Whoopi's personal platform for calling out Trump's nonsense. It was like she had a BS detector installed in her brain, and it was going off every time Trump opened his mouth. She became the voice of reason in a world that seemed to have gone crazy. But it wasn't just about scoring political points. Whoopi's criticisms came from a place of genuine concern for the people Trump was hurting. She stood up for the little guy, the marginalized groups that Trump seemed to enjoy picking on. Whoopi laid it out plain and simple. People don't want to be spoken down to. They don't want to be made fun of. Get a better gig if you are a comic. Be funnier. Boom. Take that, grumpy Trumpy. And here's the thing. Whoopi made it personal because, for her, it was personal. She wasn't just talking about some abstract political ideas. She was talking about real people, real lives. As she put it, what we heard at that rally should be enough to shake folks awake because he's talking about you. It's like she was saying, "Hey America, this isn't just politics as usual. This is about you, me, and everyone we care about." As the Trump train kept rolling, Whoopi emerged as one of his most vocal critics. She wasn't backing down. "No, sir, we're going to keep doing it," she declared, basically telling Trump, "Bring it on. Donny diapers." It was like watching David take on Goliath, except David was armed with a sharp tongue and a quick wit instead of a slingshot. But Whoopi's criticisms weren't just about Trump. She saw the bigger picture, the effect his behavior was having on the whole country. She pointed out, everybody's pissed all the time. They're just walking down the street and you can see it. It was like Trump had turned the whole country into one big grumpy cat meme. Remember how we said everyone's walking around pissed? Well, Trump took that anger and cranked it up to 11 on Twitter. The question is, did his social media tirade against Whoopi make him look presidential, or more like a toddler having a meltdown in the cereal aisle? Turns out our favorite orange turd decided to wage war on Whoopi using his weapon of choice, his tiny thumbs and a smartphone. Trump's tweets were like a rapid-fire assault of insults, each one more ridiculous than the last. He called Whoopi a crybaby, real mature Donnie. But wait, it gets better. Trump claimed Whoopi was writing him secret love letters. Yeah, because nothing says, "I'm secretly in love with you," like publicly criticizing your every move on national television. But Whoopi wasn't about to let Trump's Twitter tantrum go unanswered. She fired back on The View, making it clear she wasn't backing down. "We're going to keep doing it," she declared, basically telling Trump, "Bring it on, you oversized Cheeto." Whoopi wasn't just defending herself. She was calling out Trump's whole "poor me" act. It's like watching a playground bully cry to the teacher after someone finally stands up to him. This Twitter tussle between Trump and Whoopi wasn't just entertaining. It was like holding up a mirror to America's political divide. Trump's supporters were cheering him on like he was in a WWE match, while his critics saw his attacks on Whoopi as proof that he can't handle anyone disagreeing with him. It's like watching two kids fight over the last cookie, except one of them used to be the President of the United States. The clash didn't go unnoticed by other celebs and political figures. Many of them jumped in to back Whoopi, probably hoping some of her sass would rub off on them. It sparked a bigger conversation about how women in politics and media are treated. Who knew that a feud between a reality TV star turned president and a comedian could lead to some actual serious talk? Social media turned this whole thing into a three-ring circus. Trump's tweets spread faster than a wildfire in California, and suddenly, everyone and their grandma had an opinion. It was like watching a tennis match, but instead of balls, they were lobbing insults back and forth. The internet was more divided than a pizza cut by a drunk person. This Trump-Whoopi showdown became a symbol of just how messed up political discourse has become in America. It's like we've gone from debating policies to who can come up with the meanest tweet. Is this what the Founding Fathers had in mind when they talked about freedom of speech? Probably not, but it sure makes for some entertaining TV. Looks like Whoopi's not done roasting old grumpy Trumpy just yet. She's back on The View, serving up a fresh batch of Trump takedowns. And boy, is it spicy. Remember when Trump thought he could outsmart Whoopi on social media? Well, she saved her best singers for the small screen. Whoopi just went full throttle on The View. And let's just say, Trump might need some industrial strength aloe vera for these burns. So what's got Whoopi all fired up this time? Turns out Trump's been running his mouth on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Whoopi's not having any of it. She came out swinging, telling the audience, "There's a lot of fake news coming up, so we're going to clear some of it up as it happens."